Hello, everyone. Welcome into the View House Centennial. And we got a very special Av show for you tonight. We got former Av, current analyst, John Mitchell in the house. I want to call you Mitchie because I feel like Riker, right?
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
Is that
around
okay?
Here.
Can
yeah,
I do that?
That is completely okay.
All right.
You know, there's only a handful of people that actually call me John.
Okay.
So you don't have to be one of those
Okay,
people.
so I just wanted to make sure I could fit in the Mitchie crowd. We're okay with that?
Oh, 100%.
Or we feel better about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel good about that.
Well, speaking of cornerstone Avs, Mikko Rantanen is no longer an Av. There's a big trade. I want to talk about the newcomers, but I want to start, obviously, with the loss of Mikko. For you, someone who's still involved with the team, who played on the team, I mean, what was your reaction when you saw this trade go down?
Well, it was a little shocking, to
Yeah.
be quite honest. You know, it just comes up on the ticker, and it's like, Mikko got traded. And it's kind of, you feel it in your chest a little bit for a quick second, like, Mikko?
Right.
Of all guys, Mikko Rantanen? Right, but it's just one of those things. It comes down to a business, and you know, Chris McFarland, he has to look ahead. It's not just like we have to sign Mikko no matter what. You have to look at the big picture of other guys that are coming up in a few years. You know, mainly Cale Makar. You know, you've got three really, really good players. You know, a lot of teams they might have two or one.
Sure.
You know, cornerstone piece, but. It's crazy that the Avs actually have those three kind of players, to be quite honest. So, again, it was shocking, but I get it. It's a business transaction, and things like that happen.
This is not what we meant when we said the moose is loose. This was not. That's not what we intended.
No,
with
we
that
were not.
phrase.
We weren't thinking that exactly, but. He got extra loose.
Yeah,
right out of Colorado.
Yeah, no kidding. But they do bring in Natchez and Drury, who I keep wanting to say Chris Drury, Jack Drury, got to get that one right.
Yeah.
But they've been impressive so far. What do you like about the newcomers?
I mean, well, with Natchez, I just love his ability to skate and move with the puck. And he's not as big as Mikko. Like, Mikko's the moose, obviously, for a reason, just his stature. But just the way you can see him right here. Like, he possesses the speed and I like to call it dangle. He has those kind of dangles.
Yeah.
He's got the middies. He's got the hands that he can make those plays right there. Like that little sauce pass into an area to speed is just phenomenal. And he has great vision. And it really looks like he's got a lot of nice chemistry with Nathan MacKinnon as well.
You know, there's kind of the debate sometimes with speed versus size, and the Avs obviously have incredible speed, but now there's some are questioning, do they have enough size on defense and even up front? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a good mix right now, obviously, and there's still some wiggle room to make some more moves kind of when it comes down to the deadline, I think. And I believe, especially in the playoffs, heavy skill is an asset for any team. If you can find some big players that possess some form of skill as well, you're going to be looking pretty good. And now those players aren't low-hanging fruit. They don't just pop up wherever, right? So you're going to have to give and take. You're either going to have maybe a little bit undersized player that has more skill, or you're going to have a player that's got some size that probably lacks that ability, that skill, because those guys are, frankly, they're all taken up and they're all signed up, right? So it'll be interesting to see what the Avs are able to do. I like the makeup of their team right now, especially from the goaltender out with Mackenzie Blackwood. He's been phenomenal, and I think Nate said it somewhere along the lines when he first came in. It's a breath of fresh air knowing that you have that guy between the pipes back there, right? So just to be able to have him start there and then work your way out, I don't know. They've got a good team. Yeah.
We're going to talk more about Blackwood in the next segment, but let me ask you simply put, are the Avs a better team now than they were before this Mikko trade?
Well, I think it's tough, right? Because it's hard to lose a player of Mikko's stature because he's arguably a top 5 player in the league, without a doubt a top 10 player in the National Hockey League. So anytime you lose a player of that caliber, you're going to kind of scratch your head and be like, well, what did we give up? You get Marty Natchez, then you get Jack Drury, who's a great, he seems like he's fitting in the third line really well. He's scored a couple big goals since he's been here already. He plays the game the right way. He plays with tenacity. He plays hard. He's hard on the forecheck. Everything that you want in your third line center. He's good on faceoffs, where I think the Avs lack a lot right there. I don't know where they are exactly in the statistics and the standings with faceoffs, but I don't think they're very good. So, and even last game, Bedsy, you know, he had Jack Drury out there at the end of the game winning big faceoffs with, you know, the game 2-0, obviously. So I don't know. It's tough to say. And then also picking up the assets of a second round and fourth round pick.
Sure.
So you're giving up a big piece, but all those little things that you got back probably equal or maybe put you above what you gave up.
There you go. I love it. You know, the puzzle of the NHL salary cap. That's a tough one. We're so excited that we got Mitchie on the show tonight. All right, welcome back into Xfinity Monday Live here at the Viewhouse Centennial, and Avs are getting close to having a really long break. When you played, did you have these long, like 2-week, once it's Olympics break, now this is the 4 countries?
I had one instance when I was playing where it was the Olympics. It was the 2010 Olympics, and then must have been another Olympics in there somewhere because it was every 4 years.
Yeah.
I just don't really recall that one, but I remember when 2010 Olympics was kind of a big long break for sure.
Yeah, this one feels pretty long. What does that do? Like, is it good for guys? Does it break you out of your flow?
Well, it depends. It depends on maybe how your season's going.
Yeah.
There's a lot of determining factors.
Yeah.
Guys that are banged up and injured, all right, it's nice to have 10 days where you can rest and recuperate. And then there's other guys that, they might be absolutely buzzing and feeling it right now, and they're like, I just want to keep playing. Yeah. Right? So it all depends on where you're at. I saw Drew Doughty. He just came back because he tore his Achilles in preseason, and he doesn't want to stop playing because he just came back last week.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the season's going to go, be put on hold for 10 days or whatever. So he continues to want to play. I think he wants to play for Team Canada. So who knows if he'll actually get there.
There you go.
He's a good D-man.
That's awesome. Well, one of the really pleasant surprises of this season, obviously it was really hard to see Georgie struggle, but in comes Mackenzie Blackwood, and he has been, you mentioned it before, what Nate has said about him. Is he the best goalie the Avs have had in their championship window?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitively, yes, in my opinion. Right? He has such a presence in the crease. Just his angles and where he is so good. He's a big guy, 6'4", 220 pounds. That takes up a big chunk of the net. And it's not like he's a scrawny, gangly 6'4".
Yeah.
Like he's a heavy, big 6'4" kind of guy.
Yeah.
So to be able to possess that, you can't teach size, right?
Yep.
That's genetics, and it is what it is, right? That can't be taught. So the fact that he has that already, and then his ability to be dynamic in the net, make big saves at big times. Yeah. I can't imagine the difference the room feels, like I said earlier, when he was obviously in the net, and then unfortunately for Georgie with all of his struggles, the Avs, they probably go into games thinking, all right, we're going to have to win this. We're going to have to score 4 to win this hockey game. Unfortunately, when Georgie was in the net.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great thing to see. There is, even if the Avs don't make another move before the trade deadline, which I know is a little while away, you got hopefully Val coming back, and we know the difference that Val makes, but it's the $1 million question. Can this team trust Val Nichushkin?
You're right. I guess that is the $1 million question. And again, you never know where somebody's at in their life and what they're going through. But he's obviously had lots of time, getting suspended for 6 months. Yeah. That's a lot of time to kind of get your act together, and hopefully you can figure it out and be a big piece to this puzzle, because when he plays, he's a dominant factor out on the ice every single night. He plays in every situation. He penalty kills. He's on the power play. He's on the #1 power play. He plays 20-plus minutes a night. He's an absolute stalwart for this team. And when he's not in the lineup, it's not night and day, obviously, but when he is in the lineup, he has such a presence, and again, he just takes up a lot of ice time.
Yeah. You missed that big body in front of the net as well.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got so much more coming up here with Mitchie. We're so happy. John Mitchell here with us, but we got to get caught up on today's news and weather. So, all right, Michael, thank you so much. It's time now for the People Want to Know. People Want to Know, brought to you by Common Spirit, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos and champions for the communities we serve. And Sam wants to know, we know hockey players are a little bit stitious. What were your game day superstitions, or any superstitions?
I generally ate at the same restaurant.
Okay. What restaurant?
It was called Piatti, but it closed in Cherry Creek.
I think it's still there.
It's still there. I don't know if it's still open.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, I think it's been closed for years.
Has it?
I know, which when it went down, I was like, oh no, I love that place.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have any crazy superstitions when it came to game day.
Okay.
Just, your usual pregame skate, same place for lunch, try and nap around the same time, get to the rink. You know, nothing crazy. I have more of a superstition when I went in to like take face-offs.
Oh, okay.
That was my kind of thing. Just not that you would notice, but just a little stick tap thing that I would do every time I took a face-off.
I like it.
That was my slight OCD thing that I had.
You're just like a little stitious.
Just a teeny
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
I like
not
it.
much.
I like it a lot. That was a good one. Thank you, Sam, for the question. That was the People Want to Know, brought to you by Common Spirit. Coming up next, we got to talk about. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but we're going to talk about something from your playing days.
Oh, we got the surprise.
Yeah.
I kind of like those sometimes. Hopefully.
And we got John Mitchell here, former Av, and we're so excited to have you. But of course, you know, we always dig through the files. We found this very interesting interview from you from 2013, and I need to know what happened to your face.
I took a puck literally right between the eyes.
Oh my God!
I know it's funny. I told you I got a little bit of the eyeshadow going on right now. I got high stuck yesterday in an alumni event. Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt. This one that I have now doesn't really hurt that bad, but that one hurt.
How do hockey players? You guys you get your stitches and you go back out. It's just
I got stitched up, went back out. I scored a goal that game after that happened. So
amazing.
Yeah.
That's why we say hockey players are built different. You guys are incredible. This has been such a treat tonight. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you will come back throughout the season.
Anytime.
All right, Mitchie, thank you so much. Guys, hello, everyone. Thanks for logging on to CBSColorado.com. Time now for a few extra minutes with former Av analyst John Mitchell here with us. And Mitchie, you're looking at the standings right now in the West. Feels like it's really, really tight. I mean, how much of a push can the Avs make after the break? How high up do you think they could potentially get as playoffs? I know they're a little bit away, but.
Well, I don't believe they're going to be able to catch the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah. That team is an absolute juggernaut right now. That's not going to happen. I believe they can catch the Wild, without a doubt. Yeah. I think they still have a couple games to play against them where you got to find those, those are 4-point swings, right? Mm-hmm. You gain 2 points and they don't obviously get any. So we call those those are the 4-point games, those divisional games. And again, you've got some games probably against Dallas. So you have to take care of your division, and you really have to take care of those games with those teams that are just ahead of you, right? Because you want to have home ice advantage. Home ice advantage when you are the Colorado Avalanche is so crucial because you get to start here, you get to train here, and then you get the first game here with altitude. Yeah. And I don't care what anybody says, and I'm sure most people will agree, altitude will get you. Yeah. Right? It might not get you game one, but when you come here and you play game one, and then you have a day off, and then you play game two, it's always the third day that gets you where you're like, where is the oxygen? Yeah. Where is the oxygen in this building? So if they can find at least home ice advantage for the first round and give themselves an opportunity and a chance, right? And then you never know what happens in the other division or the other rounds where those games might go long. You're probably going to lose that home ice advantage, but if you can take it, just like they did in 2022, right? You get a sweep. They had 2 sweeps, right? And the amount of rest that you get and the amount of time that you get to train at altitude, it just only makes you stronger. It only makes you better. So I do believe they got a couple teams ahead of them that are right there that they could catch. Yeah. But they got to go on a little bit of a heater, though. Yeah. They can't do what they've been doing kind of lately, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They've won 2 in a row. They've got a little road trip coming up here, so we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. When you look at it, trade deadline's a little bit a ways. Is there any move that you would like to see them make, whether that's a specific person or a specific position that you'd like to see them go after? Yeah, that's tough to say just because you want to see what they're going to bring back. I mean, I'm assuming Val will be back and he'll be a big piece, and then you can move some guys down the lineup. Forward wise, I think they're pretty set. They feel pretty solid. Could they go out and get a little bit of a rugged kind of defenseman, like I said earlier, a little bit heavier? Yeah. It's going to be hard to find a really heavy, skilled player at this point, right? Like those aren't a dime a dozen. But if you could find a rugged defenseman that's going to be good on the penalty kill, that's going to play not in the biggest moments, but he's very serviceable, and he's not going to be a liability out on the ice. Yeah. I think anytime you can find that and shore up your blue line going into playoffs, I think that's a big thing. And then their goaltending is set. Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible that the goaltending set. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but there was a lot of seasons where it felt like Avs are going to have to score 4 or 5 if they're going to win this game, and you felt like that every night. What does that feel like for all the guys on the bench, and then when you're out on the ice, to know that maybe we just need 2, maybe we just need 1 to win tonight?
Well, that feels great, right? When you have that kind of guy between the pipes, and you have that belief, and you feel that comfortable playing in front of him. Obviously the Avs aren't just going to play run and gun and give up a bunch of 2-on-1s being, oh, we got a great goalie, he's going to make the save. I don't think that's what Bedsy's looking for, right? Take care of your own end first, play structurally sound in your D zone, and then once you get in the offensive zone, now you can play a little bit. And obviously the Avs can score. They have a leading scorer in the NHL, Nathan McKinnon, and then they've, obviously they've added a couple pieces with Natchez and Drury, and I don't think Drury's here to score a lot of goals, but again, he shores up your third line. He's a really good centerman. He's good in the face-off dot. He's tenacious on pucks. He plays the game the right way, when he's on the offensive side of the puck or the defensive side of the puck. So I think, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Yeah. It'll be very interesting. When
you've got Nathan McKinnon, when you've got Cale Makar, you're always in your championship window, right? But when you look at like the 22 team, you just like knew, right? You're like, these guys are gonna win it all. When you look at this team as it is right now, what do you feel like their chances are this year?
Well, they're not going to be nearly as good as the odds that the Avs had of winning the Cup in 2022. I mean, that team was just an absolute juggernaut, right? So, for them to win the Cup, I think they need a couple pieces. Again, the Avs that year, they won the Cup. They had a lot of home ice, which certainly helps, right? Yeah. So they're going to be playing probably a lot more games on the road and going into hostile territory. It's going to be a lot different, right? And I think the makeup of the players that they have is pretty good. Could they add a couple pieces? Sure. But again, I don't think they're even going to touch the 2022 Stanley Cup team that they had. I mean, you don't even have Gabe, right? And he's just such. Not only is Gabe so good on the ice and what he brings, his presence on the ice, penalty killing, power play, scoring big goals. It's his leadership, which I don't know if he gets enough credit for. His leadership in the room. I don't even know how to describe it, to be quite honest. He is such a good leader. I think there's an award like the Mark Messier Award. I don't know if he's won it, and if he hasn't, that's kind of ridiculous, to be quite honest, because he is such a good leader for that team when he's in the dressing room. And just his presence there, you hear guys talking about it. Oh, Gabe was at the rink today. And Gabe loves to have a good time. He likes to, joke around with the boys and keep it light, but he can also, I don't want to say flip the switch, but he can also turn it on and be like, all right, boys, it's go time. Like we need to get serious and get prepared to play.
Well, and he'd always be the guy to throw down the gloves a little bit too. He didn't care.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what he would do. He would lead. He would lead in many different ways, many different facets to his game. He could be a leader, and not everybody can fight. And he's a big, strong dude, so he wasn't afraid.
Of course, Avs fans are hopeful. Do you think there's a chance he is able to come back for this playoff run?
I really hope so. I really hope so, because I know that he is working so hard, and he's at the rink all the time, and then he's in different cities, getting things looked at, making sure everything's going as it should be according to plan. So I really hope he can, just for his sake, because he's put in such time and such effort to come back. And if he did get the opportunity, he felt good enough. I couldn't imagine, what the boys in the room are going to feel like, and just. They're gonna play for him, without a doubt. Yeah, it's a good morale thing.
Totally.
If you bring Gabe back, and it's like, hey, it's not like, hey, let's do it for Gabe only, but that's a big piece.
Oh yeah, I get goosebumps. You even just talking about it like that. So here's hoping, Mitchie. This has been such a treat. Thank you for all of this incredible insight. We appreciate you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me,
guys. Thanks for logging on. We'll see you next time.